Soundtrack to the love we make. Let your love flow and shower us. Let your love flow and shower us.
Alright, peace and love, peace and love. So I only got 30 minutes of video space available today because I got about like 5 or 6 videos in my phone that I have not uploaded yet or whatever. So I'm gonna try to speak fast, and plus I'm on my way to work, so I'll probably be to work before this 30 minutes is up anyway. So over this past couple of days or whatever, well, I gotta say past couple of days, but as far as recording videos is concerned, the past couple of days I've been dealing with time can be talked about in so many different ways, because it's so many some people that's heavy too. So time can be measured multiple ways. And I guess there's a literal sense, or technical, where you're saying, well, time is measured in hours and minutes. You know what I'm saying? But there's more to that. But I don't know. We may deal with that. We may not. But for the sake of this video, time is what I have been dealing with, and understanding time, how time works, what time means, how much time do you have, how do you use your time, are you a good steward of your time, do you use it wisely? We talked about people who wish they had more time to do certain things, or to work on something, whatever it is. Time has been the key area of focus, and I go through these periods where I come to these focus points or focus words where I have to really dig to understand them. So I think today it was kind of a thought on like people in your life, people who you value, people who you love, people who you admire, people who you respect in your life, and not necessarily looking at your time, but I guess it is your time as well as their time. The time that you have with those people that you love, respect, and admire. Whether that be a family member, whether that be a friend, a loved one, a spouse, partner, you know what I'm saying? Anybody other than yourself that you love, respect, admire, do you value the time that you have with them? Do you value their time? And I guess where my thoughts led me this morning, kind of started on that subject, spending time with them, but then it took me to somewhere else, and that's kind of what I want to talk about. It still falls under time, but it made me think about this thing, and then this might be quick because I'm almost there. But in dealing with time time with people, time with these particular people. I see oftentimes we lose somebody, and we say things like, oh my God, I didn't mean to do that, oh my God. But we lose people who we love, when their time on earth has come to an end, and we miss those people. We wish sometimes that those people were still here. We wish that they had more time. We wish that we had more time with them. And the thing is once they are absent from us here, that time has passed here on earth, and that's time that we won't get back. Yeah, this video might not have enough time for me to really get into where my thoughts were. I'm attempting to do it, but I don't know. I feel like this one probably needs a lot more time to really explain this the way I want to explain it, because I don't want people to miss what I'm saying. But we lose people that we love, and it hurts us. Sometimes we even experience losing people that we don't even know personally, and we're affected, and it hurts. I can think about when we heard the news that Michael Jackson was gone, when we heard that Prince was gone, when we heard that, Nipsey, Kobe, all these people that have gone on that we did not even know. And we were affected in certain ways. And I can remember after Nipsey died, I was bothered because I was very much into Nipsey, and I wasn't like a new fan. I was already into Nipsey, and I remember feeling like, man, bro, you know what I'm saying? And of course, at that time, everybody's post was hashtag the marathon continues, and I thought about how many people I saw posting that, that hashtag, and wondering how many people were really committed to what they were saying at that time. How many people were willing to really live that, and be about that. I knew that, and that's somebody the world knew. When Kobe died, I thought about, a lot of the inspirational and motivational type messages he had spoken, and just his determination and his drive, and how he approached the game, and just thinking that, like, how many people were affected after he died, but how many people were really committed to continuing. I remember when my grandfather died, and my grandfather some of you know, some of you may not know, but my grandfather was a major influence and inspiration in my life as a child. I spent a lot of time with him. And I thought about, when he died and how I felt, how much that affected me mentally, and the choices that I made following his death. For what I felt was me, clearing my mind. I think I kind of took on something else, and I was in 10th grade. That was 99. November 11th, 99, when he passed. And I just thought about everything. I thought about all the times we had spent together, and all the things that I feel like if I was older, he would have shared some things with me that I probably wasn't old enough to receive at that time, But we had a very close relationship. But I was too young then to really pour heavy into that. I loved being with him, when I was there, and I loved the rides to the bank. And to this day, every time I go to the bank, that's an experience for me. It's a thing for me, and I go to the bank a lot. And I ain't saying that to say nothing concerning my finances, but it's a thing for me to go to the bank because of my grandfather. And so this morning I was thinking about time, and I was thinking about the time that we spend with people that we care about, and people who influence us, and people who we have I don't want to say followed or but supported or believed in their guidance, their wisdom, their knowledge. And I thought about I had been thinking over this and not knowing that it would tie in with where I was in my thoughts this morning, but I've been sharing with some people about what happened after Jesus was killed. What happened to the disciples? What happened to the message after Jesus was killed? And, the question of, did they continue the message? Did they continue to exemplify the message? And, that's kind of where my thoughts went today about these people who we love, and when they're no longer with us, my question is, do we carry on the message? Do we carry on the legacy? Because we yearn for more time with them. But the question would be, is the time that we did have with them, did we utilize it? Did we maximize it? Did we use it wisely? Did we learn what it was, what their message was? Did we learn what their purpose was? Did we learn what they stood for? And I was just thinking about that, and if we know their purpose, if we know their legacy, if we love them and we want to spend more time with them, the best way, the only way that we can have more time with them is in walking in the path that they walked, or continuing the path, continuing their legacy. You know, I was just thinking about how when Jesus died, what the world would be like if the people, instead of, and I'm not saying you should not mourn. I'm not saying that everybody will mourn and heal in their own way. But what I'm saying is, who picked up the torch and carried it on? Who carried on the teachings? Who continued to share the wisdom and the guidance? You know, who's carrying on the Michael Jackson message? Because say what you want about the person, you know, and I guess that depends on what you understand about media and entertainment business, and if you believe every word that comes from the media's mouth or not, you know. But regardless of what your thoughts about Michael Jackson are, do you know what his message was? And, you know, who's carrying on the message? Nipsey Hussle. Who's carrying on the message? Yeah, people will go and try to grab the gang affiliation and the this and the that. They'll grab all of that, but what was at his core? What was his message? Kobe Bryant, we'll get caught up in, was he the greatest? Was he the GOAT versus Michael versus LeBron versus, who's the greatest of all time on a basketball court, which means absolutely nothing in comparison to who the man was and what his message was. Who's carrying on the legacy? Who's carrying on the message? And I was just thinking all of this over this morning, and like I said, I've been thinking over that Jesus scenario that I spoke of. I've been thinking over that for a couple weeks now, because I was just in a place and I'm thinking, like, who will carry on the message? Who's carrying on the message? Don't get so caught up in the person all the time, If you're a Bible reader, and this ain't no religious thing, but if you believe in the texts, then we understand that oftentimes God chose to use imperfect people. Because in using an imperfect person, people are able to see if they are true believers in the Creator, in the Most High. If they're true believers, then they look for the works, not, who the person used to be, what they used to do, how they used to talk, how they used to walk. That is all the more reason that we have an opportunity to believe in the power, is because if we can remember who somebody was and who they used to be and what they used to do, and we see who they are now, we know that something mighty and powerful had to come in to change them from the inside out. So, I know that this was kind of a shift from time, but it began with time, and thinking about the time that we do have with people. What are we doing in that time? Are we using that time to just say, oh, I was there? Or, are we learning from them? Are we understanding their message? Are we understanding their purpose? And then if we are, then when that time comes that they're no longer with us, are we carrying on that message and legacy? Because I feel that is the way that we're able to have more time with those people that we love, is by doing the work, continuing the work. Because in an essence, they are with you when you're doing their work. Now, if they were doing the work of evil, now I don't know. I don't know that. I guess you would know that. And may God have peace upon them and you. But if they were attempting to spread a message of good, positive love, peace, truth, then we're able to have more time with them in continuing the work. Continuing their legacy gives us more time with them because they'll be with us. Growing up, I when I visit my grandparents, and this is the last thing. My grandfather, the room that, not all the time, because sometimes we would have to sleep in different rooms just depending on the particular visit, who was there, who wasn't there, which family member was in town, who wasn't. That would determine where we would sleep. But there was a room in my grandparents' house that was the wall of books. And as a kid, the only books that interested me were the crossword puzzles, and the word searches. My grandmother loved those, crosswords and word searches. But there were so many books on that shelf that I never even paid much attention to. I mean, I would look at them, encyclopedias and health books and a lot of knowledge. But I didn't at the time understand that or know where that was. But now, and I'm not in my truck today, so I don't have my box with me. But it's funny now. I drive around with a box of books. And when I meet people and when I talk to people and people tell me about what things that they're dealing with in life, sometimes I deal with them to see where they are. Not deal with them, that didn't sound right. I get to know them and understand them. And what's up? And if I feel like I have a book that might help them, or just even when I'm out shopping, when I'm out and about, not shopping, but when I'm out and about, whenever I see books, I stop to see what books they are. And if I see books that I feel are helpful to myself or that might be helpful to people that I might meet, I buy books. I buy books weekly. I just buy books I go to Goodwill, I go through books. I go to bookstores, I go through books. If I'm in a store that's got some books, Five Below is one of my favorite spots now to get some decent books. I just buy books. I buy books. I buy books. You know, money that I would spend on other things back in the day, now I buy books. I cut out some of those things that I was spending money on, and now I invest in books for myself and others. So, you know, when I meet people and they're dealing with things, I'm like, you know what? You read. You need to read. You know, and I'll go get a book out the car and give it to them. You know, I don't care what I paid for it. If I feel like it can add value to your life, that's my investment in your life. I want you to have this book, but I want you to commit to reading it. You know, if you're not going to commit to reading it, bring my book back. Bring my book back, you know. But most times I really don't take the book back. That's just my urge to get them to read the book. But, yeah, I got to get in here to work. But I was saying it about the books because it's interesting. Like, as a child, I didn't pay much attention to the books. But since I've grown and come to understand things in life, now books are a part of who I am, you know. And I invest in books, and I have a decent sized library at home of my own of books filled with knowledge on many different subjects, and ironically a lot of the subjects that my grandfather had books on. So although I miss him and I think about him often, I believe that I'm honoring him by not only just having books, but by getting into the books. Getting into the books, gaining knowledge, and following on the path to get closer to God. And in doing that, I spent a lot of time with my grandfather and a lot of other people who have gone on. And I pray that when my time comes, that people understand what my message was, and that if they want to spend more time with me or wish they had more time, pick up that book and grab that knowledge within, that knowledge that will elevate your mind and bring you closer to God, because that's the path that I was on. I hope this didn't go over everybody's head. I hope y'all understood this. I hope it made sense. This ain't nothing that ain't nothing wrong. So I don't want people to be watching like, is he? I'm fine. That's just where my thoughts were. It was in understanding, spending time with the people that you love. You know, we got to use that time wisely and make sure we know what these people were about. I hate to spend a lot of time around somebody and know nothing about them. Not know what their dreams were, what their purpose was, what they stood for, you know. And not being caught up on so much on who the person used to be, but understanding who they are now. Who they aspire to be, who they want to be remembered as, and honoring that. But I didn't even realize that I made it 30 minutes. That's all I had too, was 30 minutes and 16 seconds of recording time. So I guess I did have enough time to help y'all, help myself. Hopefully y'all understood it. And keep those loved ones alive by doing those things that you know they wanted to get completed. Maybe they didn't have enough time, but you still have life, so you still got time. Peace and love, y'all.